our cousin Logan is down in Florida right now, and it's one of our last days with them. And so we're gonna go out and have a fishing competition. Now when Logan's down, we love to fish with him. And so we've been thinking about having this competition for a long time where we all start with the same materials and we go out to some little beach and just try to fish and see who can get the most fish or the biggest fish and prove themselves the best fishermen.
We're doing tackle lots?
Yeah, man.
That's kind of against the whole point, is just to go with bigger.
Well, then what if you lose your gear?
Well, that's the whole point. You can't lose your gear. You gotta make it nice and strong.
But what if you do lose your gear?
Well, then I guess you're not qualified fisherman. I'm not disqualified for the competition.
Wow.
I think you weren't allowed to drive it back then, so I had to drive it.
I just had to drive it in between Mr. Don's dock, Mr. Dale's dock, and with a life jacket, but I still drove it.
Wow, that's like 100 yards.
And yet I still caught redfish.
I believe it. I believe it. They're out there. All right.
Let the games begin. Well done.
Hudson's gaining on us.
Not for long. No ship can outmatch the minnow for speed. This thing was made to fly. As you can see, we're going all of 2 miles per hour. It's pretty epic. It's getting choppy right here. There's no land in sight. Only that land back there.
Actually, keep an eye on the step.
Starting to make it to our destination here. There's Bigfoot Beach. So we call it Bigfoot Beach because back when we were kids, we would explore all the little beaches around here, and I think the first time we came to Bigfoot Beach, we saw a really large footprint, so we named it Bigfoot Beach. We don't believe in Bigfoot though, so we're all cool. The road came off. All right, we made it.
Logan.
First time being on land in a few days now, without food and water. Feels pretty good. Nice job, Captain Logan. Give me some. Bam.
Wait.
Machete's so dull.
Step one, we gotta get some bait. All right, got one. First bait of the day. Little finger mullet. Should get us something good. No bait. I got one.
You got one?
Yeah, mullet. I put it in here.
So my brothers and I were brainstorming the other day, and we're thinking of some fun projects to start working on. And we had the idea of kind of reintroducing the Schroeder slinger. Growing up, we loved our slingshots and always had those around, always played with them. But it's been a long time since we've had slingshots, and so now that we're back here in the States, yeah, Kian actually got our website kind of up and going just the other day. He slapped a really nice one together in like 2 days. He's really fast on the computer. And we have an online store now, and so yeah, one of our ideas was, why not try to start making Schroeder slingers and selling them on the website? Because really, a good slingshot is just so much fun. I brought along a machete. It's been a long time since I've used a machete. We don't really use them here in the States much, but this is actually my grandpa's. He was, I think, down in South America at some point and picked it up as a souvenir. So I tried to get it sharpened, but I'm lacking a good sharpening stone, so it's difficult. But it's sharp enough to cut something, so now I just have to find a piece of wood.
I just walked out probably about 100 feet, cast my line out. Hopefully I get a big one. Yeah, so I'm using a Shriner right now. Little fish about this long, really flashy. Hopefully it'll attract a big predator. That's all I got. Just that and my wit and expertise as a fisherman. Man against nature. Hey Logan, Logan, you got a fish?
Line in.
Steel cat.
No way.
My line's real quick.
All right, first fish of the day. Look at that guy. Beauty. Dude.
Wow.
All right, first fish of the day.
Oh
Look
no,
at that
what?
guy.
Here's what happened. So I cast it out, and somewhere along there was like this bump in the line, and it snapped it right then and there. And so
you were holding on to the line out there.
I was holding on to the line because I saw it right there, so I grabbed it because I didn't want to leave a bunch of lines sitting out there. So I'm walking back with it, and I pull my pole down, and I start to bring it in, and then it hit it right as I was bringing the line in.
Yeah.
It's probably about halfway, and then that's where I was like, oh wow, I got a fish.
All right, first fish of the day. Logan caught a hard-headed catfish. So right now that puts him definitely in the lead, but his rig basically broke. It snapped while he was out there. So he's got to retie that and get all ready, and Asher just sent another line out there. So usually we don't eat those catfish, they're kind of nasty, but this one's really beautiful, really clean, and it comes from the bay, not the bayou. So we're gonna take him home and cook him up.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've used a machete. Back in the jungle, they were our tools, like our biggest tools. We'd use them almost on a regular basis, like every day, because you always need to cut something, or if you're out in the jungle hiking around, you always carry one of these because you need them for everything. And it's funny because once we transitioned back here to the States, I mean, this thing is so dull. Once we transitioned back here to the States, this kind of became my urban machete. That's kind of like what I like to call our phones, because we use them every single day. It's amazing how much I started using a phone after I got here to the States. And just like a machete is like a tool, and we always learned to treat machetes as tools because they're big, they're sharp. They can be dangerous if you don't use them properly. Thankfully, we've never had any big accidents with machetes, like cutting ourselves and stuff. But in the same way, I've really treated my phone as a tool, because a lot of people get on these things way too much and waste time on them, or I don't know, just don't use them very wisely. So I've been careful as I've been here back in the States to make sure I treat my phone as a tool. Only use it when I have to, because I don't know, just don't want to be on these things all the time. There's more productive things to do.
Beautiful knot. I'm back in action.
My bait fish, I hooked him on a little bit towards the belly, and so when I casted him out, the hook ripped through, and so my fish came off. So I saw where he landed, so I went over there and I saw him swimming, and I reached down, and I picked him back up and re-hooked him. But he's a little bit injured, so I'm gonna get a new one that's nice, fresh and strong, because I want a big fish. So, and Logan's going out anyway, so I'll walk out with him. Moral support.
Moral support. Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. All right, here goes little Joe. First time being out on a hook.
It's been a really good Easter this year. Being back in the States with our home church, it's been really good to be able to walk through the death, burial, and resurrection of Christ with them. It just got me thinking about what all that entails. And, you know, Easter comes around every year, and it's a time to celebrate Christ's resurrection. And that's something that we celebrate all year round, but especially during Easter. And we kind of, time for us to think about it more, dwell upon it more, and just really praise the Lord again for His amazing work that He's done for us. For most of the people throughout most of history, really, they haven't had the knowledge of the deliverer and the Messiah. You know, they went through history trusting in God to bring someone who's going to take care of their sins and restore a right relationship with God. But they didn't know who it was, and they didn't know how it was going to happen. But in our day and age, God decided where we were born and when we were born. And in our day and age, we know that. We know the truth. And we know the complete story of God and how we can be made right to Him. So it's exciting. That's exciting. A lot of time we just kind of focus on Christ's death on the cross. How God poured out all of His wrath that we deserve. The wrath that we deserve for our sin. He gave that punishment to Jesus instead on the cross. Such an amazing thing that kind of our thoughts are attracted to that. But really, the resurrection, how Jesus is now living and He didn't stay dead, it's equally important because it shows that Christ's sacrifice on the cross was sufficient, and that God is no longer angry at his son, and he rose him from the dead, and that his payment was sufficient for sin. And it's also kind of a foreshadowing of our own resurrection, and that death comes to all of us, but it won't be final. Just like Jesus was resurrected into his new body, so those who believe in Jesus will also be resurrected. And that's an exciting thought. And it's a thought that if we believe it, and we put our faith and our trust in it, then we can have no fear. And death truly loses its sting. It's no longer something to fear because Christ literally conquered it. And that if we believe in him and are trusting in him to be our deliverer, we don't have to fear death anymore. Because we can live our lives on the edge and doing things for Christ, even if they're dangerous, because we know that our lives, they're not our own. They've been bought by Christ for a price, and that we don't have to fear death. And so we can live fully for Christ and know that, yeah, if we give our lives to him, he will give us true eternal life. And so it's super exciting. It's super amazing way to live.
I got this old guy out of my trunk. Also something I haven't used in a long time. A dear friend gave this to me, Mr. A.J. Clay. He passed away a couple years ago, but I think it was like probably 10 years ago. He gave this to me, a Swiss Army knife. He had it for a long time. And man, this knife, it's the knife I cannot lose. I've taken this thing everywhere with me, and it served me well, but because it has this little string, I put it in my pocket, and this little loop has just a terrible reputation of snagging on branches, and so I've lost this knife, I think 5 or 6 times, way out in the middle of the jungle. I mean, literally, talk about a needle in a haystack. But somehow I've always been able to retrace my steps and find it. There's one time I lost it for a month, and it was just by wild coincidence that I was out, and yeah, I just saw a little tip of red kind of like sticking out of the moss, and sure enough, it was my knife. So it's a pretty lucky knife. Anyways, it's perfect for whittling slingshot handles. These little knots are pretty significant. Each one, it doesn't matter.
So the plan is, we're not really catching anything right here. It's really shallow, so we're gonna hop back in the minnow and we're gonna try to anchor a little bit further out. Hopefully the big fish will be out there. We can get in the grass beds a little bit more and have more success. So that's the plan. Can I be captain this time?
Alright.
I'm gonna be captain this time. Alright, y'all. We're heading out into deep water. All of 5 feet.
Are you videotaping me?
Because we're still vlogging, I'm just getting some footage. This is the shot, because the sun's like right in your head. Point somewhere. Look left and then point.
Ah, it's right. Fine, there.
Alright, we need to work on your action skills, man.
Well, what do you want me to point? You need.
Go for it.
Okay. So we spent probably a good hour and a half on Bigfoot Beach. Only got 1 catfish, so me and my poop deck boy cousin Asher. We're
Captain Asher.
Whatever. We're gonna go out a little ways to the drop off where it gets a bit deeper, and hopefully that's where the fish will be hanging out. Because one captain. Ah!
We see a little crab trap up here, so we're thinking that might be a good spot to anchor. We definitely don't have a depth finder, but we can lower the anchor down and kind of get a bearing at how deep the water is, and just go from there. It's actually flattening out since we're out here. It's really wavy back there, really loud, but it's nice and peaceful out here. The sun's starting to set. It's beautiful out here. No better place to be than out in the water.
Thanks for watching The Wild Way, and double thanks if you've already liked or subscribed to our YouTube channel. If you want to get more involved with us, visit our Patreon website. Hit the link below to learn how you can become a member of our patron team and partner with us. Also, you'll get awesome benefits like exclusive vlog videos, like Wild Brothers merchandise, and a lot more.